A multi-pet household operates as a rigid, closed biological ecosystem. Over time, the animals living inside negotiate a strict internal hierarchy, eventually settling into a stable, predictable daily routine. When a human brings home a new puppy, we see a cute, clumsy addition to the family. The existing animals, however, perceive a high-energy intruder breaching their established borders. In a natural setting, an unknown animal entering a pack's territory triggers an immediate defense response. Forcing an introduction requires the resident animals to suppress every evolutionary instinct they possess to protect their space. If this system undergoes critical stress, the result is often immediate. The resident pack may respond with territorial aggression, resource guarding, or a total hostile rejection of the newcomer that can become permanent. Because of these deep-rooted survival instincts, a peaceful integration is rarely accidental. It requires active human mediation to override nature and prevent a biological clash. This mediation begins with spatial management. To keep the animals from feeling trapped or cornered, the first contact must take place in a neutral, open area, rather than a narrow corridor or a feeding zone. The human mediators manage the tension by restricting the intruder's movements. This allows the established pack the freedom to approach, investigate, or retreat on their own terms. This map illustrates the invisible territorial gradient within the home. High-value real estate, like a favorite bed or the owner's lap, is marked by deep red pulses, representing areas the established pack is most likely to defend. By ensuring the older animals retain control of these premium spots, the humans force the newcomer to acknowledge the existing hierarchy. Respecting these physical boundaries is the first step in de-escalating the resident pack's defensive response. It proves their status in the ecosystem remains secure despite the new arrival. With the space secured, the mediators turn their attention to a more volatile driver of conflict, the biological fear of food scarcity. The default evolutionary response to a new predator entering a feeding zone is instantaneous resource guarding, a protective behavior designed to ensure survival. To neutralize this, the humans use a specific mitigation strategy. They distribute high-value treats to all the animals simultaneously, bringing them into close proximity. This is classical counterconditioning. By pairing the intruder with high-value food, mediators create a positive association. When repeated over time, instead of a spike in stress hormones, the puppy's presence triggers a dopamine reward. This managed sharing essentially hacks the animal's nervous systems. It begins the process of transforming a potential rival into a source of positive anticipation. With territory and resources stabilized, the final requirement for integration is the physical establishment of trust, a moment of wonder. Notice the specific way the puppy rolls over to expose his stomach and neck to the larger animals. In the biological world, this posture of complete vulnerability is a powerful signal of appeasement. It is the newcomer's way of proving they harbor no dominant ambitions within the pack. The human mediators reinforce this signal by praising the behavior. By drawing attention to the puppy's submissive traits, they confirm to the older animals that the intruder is not a threat. Recognizing and rewarding this physical vulnerability is the final behavioral threshold required to fully neutralize the intruder threat and allow the pack to relax. Once the biological negotiation succeeds, the initial hostility is replaced by mutual tolerance. The resident animals no longer see a threat, and the newcomer no longer sees a wall of aggression. At this stage, the previously separate entities merge their identities. They function no longer as individuals, but as a single, unified biological pack. These moments are often captured in viral videos as spontaneous displays of cuteness, but they are actually the result of complex behavioral ecology. A successful domestic introduction requires precise human management of territory, resources, and trust. Only by overriding primal survival instincts can we turn a biological intruder into a lifelong brother.